The Rancor's Brothel presents... Dungeon Crawl What up, nerds?
What's up?
I don't have an intro, so if anybody's got anything.
No, fuck it, let's go.
I do have story time before we start this one, though.
Oh?
Is this the one I brought to you?
No. This is Champions of the Goblin Market. It is, as far as I know, the first publication by Witch Please Publishing. Which, solid. This one actually is interesting because I follow, obviously, I'm a big fan of DCC, and I follow a lot of their, way too many of their Kickstarters. This one was actually pitched in the DCC RPG Rocks Facebook page, which is the best Facebook page for DCC as far as I'm concerned.
We just got a notification from somebody in Europe saying, like, celebrating DCC Day.
Yeah, DCC Day is tomorrow at the time of recording, not at the time of release. Yeah.
But they're saying Happy DCC Day because they're in Europe and it's already tomorrow.
Yeah. No. I'm kind of stoked because I'm probably going to, even though my parents are coming down tonight and Dad wants to work on projects around the house, I'm probably driving the 45 plus minutes over there.
Oh, to Saltier?
Yeah, because they're doing they're giving away XCC. There's a free adventure pack. There's a new adventure only available for DCC Day, and they're doing a hardcover of Return to the Starless Sea, which I don't have a copy of yet, which is what's his name?
Which one did we do?
Sailors on the Starless Sea.
Sailors on the Starless Sea. Okay.
He did a
sequel.
Yeah, but I think it's a tournament game, so it's supposed to be like really fuck you hard, as I believe.
Oh, nice.
But they're doing a limited edition hardcover of it, I think. So I'll go over there and pick up some stuff. Anyway, back to this. So the guy who runs Witch Please Publishing, his name's he's got MC Funk here, but I think his name's Matt or Matthew Funk. So it's really interesting is, so he pitched this on the DCC RPG page Rocks, and everybody's really, really excited because I don't know if his background is in mythology and like medieval literature, but he's pitching these like what's it called? It's like called the Legends of Loire or Loire. I'm gonna pronounce it wrong because it's not on the back like I thought it was. But he's like Legends of Lore, Lohre. And like what's really interesting is he's like, yeah, no, this is based on a traditional like poem, which is included in this book, and it's actually a pretty good poem. Pretty interesting. He's got like a recipe from the Goblin Market in this. Like and it was like some really, really cool ideas. Now what's interesting is he started his Kickstarter, a whole bunch of people pledged. They're like, yeah, sure, we're into it. They found out that he was planning on using AI art for all of it. And everybody like canceled their pledges. And what was interesting is like, which I thought was cool in the DCC RPG page Rocks, they were like, hey man, like we really, we want to support small publishers and everything else, but like this community's not a super big fan of like artificially intelligent made art, especially because DCC is so full of like that old school hand drawn shit, right? Mm-hmm. And he was like, hey, I don't really know, blah, blah, blah. I'm a new publisher. I don't even know what to do. And what's interesting is some of the DCC folks, I think particularly Bob Brinkman, reached out to him and is like, here's how you hire artists. Here's how you look out for stuff. And by the way, I've sent it on to some of the DCC guys. And so, yeah, you're going to have to change your pledges and you're going to have to pay them a little bit more. But like, here's how you can get actual hand-drawn art for your stuff. So he canceled his Kickstarter, revamped it, and came back like a month later or something like that. And now it's all hand-drawn art. And so people went batshit crazy about it because it's a really cool adventure. And he's doing... I backed two other things that I think he's done now. He's going to do a whole like adventure book in this Legends of Lore, but it's all interior art with like hand drawn maps and stuff. So I thought it was an interesting anecdote to share because it's neat to see communities have a difference of agreement and like work through it as a group. And for him to be like, yeah, I shouldn't have done this, but I also didn't know how to do it. And for people to like step up and say, hey, here, we'll help you out, and like
not just work through it, but actually support them through it and help them.
Right, and folks like me were all of a sudden we're like, hey, yeah, no, okay, so your book went up by a couple bucks, or like you had to go back to the drawing board, but like, yeah, now we'll support it because this is like, first off, this cover is gorgeous, and it's like what's his name, Stephen Pogue, I think is his name. And I've got the second one in this series, and I just kickstarted the third one in this series. So it's really, really cool. So anyway, props to Matt Funk, because I think a lot of times if, people reject your ideas, you just pick up your toys and go home or say, screw you. And props to the community for reaching out to him. Anyway, so this is the first in a series of adventures. Where do we want to start? Big thing that I need to know first. You are in a town in the wilderness, far out into the woods. Would any of your characters... It's midsummer, and you're specifically out here because this town is well known for its midsummer celebration. Are your characters members of this small community, or are you visiting the small community because of their midsummer celebration? Really doesn't matter, just curious.
I don't know, what kind of community is it?
It is a rural farming community. You're on the... if this were drawn on a map, just beyond this small community is here there be dragons kind of shit. Here there be goblins.
I mean, can some of our people be here and some be visiting?
Yeah, sure.
Because, I would assume my farmer is probably bringing goods to sell or have sold goods to the community to use for celebration. The fortune teller could be coming here trying to make money.
For sure. You don't have to necessarily decide right now. It's just a question you need to sort of mentally answer as we get started. So if anybody wants to make a declaration, they can. If not, we'll figure it out as we go. I also should point out, I guess, that Jeff is using the scratch-off zero-level character sheets because he arrived late and didn't have any characters prepared. And what we've decided is that Jeff is only going to scratch off skills as they become important. So all he knows right now is his occupation. But we've decided
I did name him and give him alignments.
Okay, you did name him and give him alignments. But otherwise, it's just going to be a surprise of what equipment you have when it comes time to scratch it off.
It's going to be awesome.
I agree. I think it's going to be very exciting.
Don't forget, if you do end up with a luck modifier, that you need to look up your lucky roll.
Your birth augur.
I know.
Your birth augur. You might want to scratch luck just to know if you need augurs. Basically, you need to roll if it's anything that's not a 0.
I need to roll 1.
Does it not have it on there already?
Oh, yeah, I guess it probably does. Nothing that's going to have any effect this level.
But it could.
It could.
No, this actually is a relatively... this settlement is actually relatively new. The First Kingdom first started laying claim to this forest about 100 years ago. And so that's when the first sort of farming communities took shape. So it's still a very young farming community. It was discovered that an ancient battle, the Battle of Crowton Field, took place nearby. So for the last decade or so, it's kind of become that's been one of its claims to fame because it was a very large battle from ancient times. And so lots of travelers come to the local inn, which is the Darling Damsel. So if you're not local, you're staying at the Darling Damsel. And that would brought artisans, scholars, etc. But yes, this is way out in the middle of nowhere. So something you can think about as we go.
I have a cobbler and a woodcutter that are probably from here.
Okay.
I would imagine my grave digger and my farmer probably are. What do dyers do again?
You're just working with fabric.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
okay.
You're not a tailor. You're just dyeing the fabric.
Got you.
You're making whole bolt cloth to sell.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So we have rival dyers and and 2 rival grave diggers from 2 different cemeteries because everybody's already dead.
Yeah.
So with a thriving community of 70 people, the gravedigger probably isn't needed all that much.
Yeah.
But he's super eager whenever he is.
Yeah. Somebody coughs in the tavern and you just see him hold up his shovel.
I'm not sure that the sage and the astrologer may be just traveling through.
That's fair.
I would imagine my fortune teller is traveling.
Absolutely. I don't know if you've ever seen a fistful of dollars? Anybody?
Long time ago.
There's a moment where Clint Eastwood is walking by and you see the coffin maker is sizing him up, and then you see him make a slight whittling adjustment to the coffin that he's working on. Same thing. Gravediggers thinks about which plot he's going to go in. Okay, so, and the other reason why I really wanted to run this adventure, and one of the reasons why I bought it, you all have reason for being in the small crossroad town of Thorpe.
Fuck's sake.
It is Midsummer Eve, which has brought the sleepy town stirring to vibrant life. maypole ribbons, tests of skill, ale-soaked songs, all at the Darling Damsel. To those of you who are local, you know that it is, as you approach midsummer, it's also potentially worrying because it is known that the Fae occupy the hills. The Fae kingdoms in deathless sleep dream terrible things, and where you hear the cry of monsters and otherworldly creatures screaming through the forest. Because obviously, as you approach midsummer, magic is at its wildest. So, anything you'd like to do in the town of Thorpe?
I want to go see the statue of the guy that the place is named after.
It seems to be a Goef. Goef Thorpe.
He's a hefty fella.
What?
So he's a hefty fella?
Yeah.
Goffrey Thorpe.
I'm too busy laughing at the idea of my halfling walking around with his 10-foot pole.
You've got it anchored low to your back, and then there's still like 7.5 feet shooting through the air.
Yeah. And he's got 3 yards of cloth, so it's probably just like...
How very anime of you.
Yeah.
It's like a massive fucking flag.
Yeah.
Would you like to go around and introduce your characters?
Sure.
Who you are, what you're doing, why you're in my basement?
Sometimes
I ask myself that every time I'm here.
Sometimes I wonder.
I'm
I
here
could
to
do this at home.
masturbate.
I could literally do this at home. I have an astrologer named Seer. I've got an elven sage. The elf part doesn't really matter at 0 level. It's a sage named Foggy. A halfling dyer named Tent. And a gravedigger named Taker.
I've got a fortune teller named Hamish Anders. A farmer named Amos Winston. A gravedigger named Ashtus Oban. And a halfling dyer named Giles Ever.
I have a mercenary named Tom, a cobbler named Dick, a woodcutter named Harry, and a dwarven blacksmith named Dibble Brassrocks.
Yep. That sounds about right.
Should have seen that coming.
I don't think this is the first time you've played DCC with a Tom, Dick, and Harry.
It
May not
probably
be
isn't.
true.
I'm pretty sure you...
I should have made it another Steve.
A Tom, Dick, or Harry. Any Tom, Harry, or Dick. I don't like
found
musicals,
that
but that's a
sheet
solid
there
song.
this morning when I was trying to find an empty blank one. Steve's sheet.
Steve didn't make it,
Didn't
man.
make it. Everybody else did. Oh god, best ending of a DCC ever.
As you are enjoying the revelry in the woods throughout the town of Thorpe, people are excited, happy to have so many people in town, happy to have an influx of gold. People are selling trinkets. Ale is flowing freely. It's a good time until you hear the cries of horror from the darling damsel. You hear screams and crying. My girls, where are my girls? Has anyone seen my girls? To those of you who know the person screaming, this would be Baru the dairy farmer. And she has 2 girls, Kylie and Maddie Thistledown.
Is the milk blue?
Not usually. Depends on the phase of the moon. But she's screaming that she hasn't seen her girls since this morning. She's wondering if anyone has seen them.
No, but I bet the Fae ate them.
This causes her... I don't know which of your characters is speaking, Jeff.
Probably the dwarf.
This causes her to weep uncontrollably.
Gravedigger just grabs her shovel.
Yeah.
A little somberly, but he's got it.
He said they ate them, dumbass. There's nothing left.
Still plant a headstone.
There's not a lot of grave to dig if you're just putting up a headstone.
Tell me my business, devil woman.
The owner of the darling damsel, Hob Kingsley, attempts to console Baru. But everybody knows it would be completely mad to try and chase down these girls, no matter how much gold or glory is involved.
No, I've got a mercenary. He's all about the golden glory.
How much
Or at
golden
least the
glory
gold.
is involved?
Well, the Vale around Thorpe is well known for Fae, magic, gold, danger, and death. It just depends on what combination you find. The townsfolk are poor.
So are my people.
But the day is new. The sun is up. Adventure is nigh.
If the day is new, they haven't been gone all day.
That's true.
They'll come back. They're kids.
Well, where did you last see him?
She hasn't seen him since early in the morning.
How old are
I did
these
not
kids?
answer the question. The question was where.
They're farmers' kids. Who knows where they're playing? I believe they are 12 and 14, 10 and 12, something like that. Let me look.
How close is the farm to the Vale?
I mean, the farms would be right up against the forest.
Against the forest.
Yeah.
Well, that's an unfortunate placement.
It's like you've seen The Witch, right? Or The Vivitch, kind of like that.
It was actually pretty good.
It is a good movie. I enjoyed it. It's not your typical horror movie, but it's a good movie.
No. A24's got some good shit.
What are you scratching, you cheater?
I'm finishing up scratching off the lucky roll so I can...
Oh.
I saw that it involved spell checks, so I knew I wouldn't have to worry about it right now.
Unless somebody tries to cast against you.
Nah.
True.
So yeah.
Cool.
Would you like to stomp off into the woods for adventure and glory to try and find these two lost girls?
It's going to be a short night if we don't.
That is accurate.
Fuck
Another
them
ale.
kids. No.
Fuck them kids.
Editor, roll the outro.
we just paint "fuck them kids" on my flag that's on my back, and I just start marching off. Fuck them kids.
Yeah, let's go.
As the townfolk disperse and begin looking for them, there are some folks who begin to see signs that the girls did disappear into the thicket of the Arden Hills. So they definitely have. There is a direction to point in which they headed, but none of the townsfolk of Thorpe, outside of potentially your characters, show any signs of being willing to enter the wood on Midsummer Eve.
Let's do it.
Yeah, the woodcutter will probably lead people in there.
Okay.
Your mercenary wouldn't.
The mercenary's waiting to get paid.
You'll get paid till you're done.
That's not how mercenaries work, man.
That's how this game works.
So the woodcutter begins leading folks into the wood.
Yes. Onward.
Okay. The Arden Hills are thickly wooded by oak, cedar, and elm. And within, as you begin to march through, the woodcutter would know there are many crumbling ravines of pale stone, areas of high grass, and everything is just unbelievably hot, even under the shade of the trees. It is unpleasant.
I have a chicken in case we need to check for traps.
Distinctive and haunting are the hot, moaning winds that whip the grass and rattle the trees. Smells of dust and pollen swirl in these wooded canyons, making this smell like an old land. Sounds of wailing winds come and go, but the chirr of cicadas, buzz of mud wasp, and hum of midges is constant. Bird calls are non-existent.
It's fucking weird in here.
So it's swampy.
It is. I would say swamp is not a bad. Like, I don't know how wet it is, but the sort of like I'm thinking the
constant buzz of midges and whatever.
Right.
They got to have somewhere to come from.
And you can't say that word anymore.
Huh?
He's worried about his people getting their feelings hurt.
I said I don't think you can say that word anymore.
Just tell him to say it to your face, Jeff.
Yeah.
It almost seems like it's the kind of place that, like, with the long, heavy rain will sustain a swamp, but maybe it's just kind of like just dry enough to get through.
It makes me think of the wood in Sword in the Stone, where it seems like they ran like 5 feet in and everything became like dark and treacherous and spooky, like that. You come across a sort of crooked alley through briars and brambles that snakes toward a canyon, but stews in a stink like soiled coppers. The trail of the Thistledown girls vanishes here, and the way ahead wins before sharply turning into a ravine. Halfway, a cloud of flies cluster above the brush.
It's the bog of eternal stench.
Yep, they got 8. Let's go home.
The mercenary turns around and begins to leave.
No, I mean, I think should totally put one of 1 HP characters up front. The farmer, the local guy, Amos, would probably be trying to like drive people ahead.
Okay.
I'll use my spyglass and look around.
Intelligence check?
Oh, I can roll dice.
You can, yeah. That is part of the game. God damn you, Lucas.
This all came in a bag together. I've only used like 3 of these dice. That's a 19 on the die.
That's a pretty good roll.
Int check is a 18.
Interestingly enough, who is this?
This is Seer, the astrologer. He's got a spyglass.
For whatever reason, the astrologer has done, maybe it's the spyglass's help, maybe he just is good at tracking things in the woodlands. You've been following the trail of the girls. It becomes obvious that there's only one girl on this trail now. Like, the steps were heavy, and now they're half as heavy, if that makes sense. It doesn't make sense to you, but...
So at some point they split off, or one just stopped running somewhere.
Possibly. You can also, with your spyglass, see that in the area where you are seeing a cloud of flies, you are also seeing dark forms on the ground beneath said cloister of flies.
Well, I will send my my gravedigger to go check that out.
As the gravedigger moves forward, it doesn't take long to recognize the stench of death, as you might expect. He sees some gangly creatures, just under 4 feet tall, with ochre skin, ropey muscles, and pot bellies. Exaggerated features, beady eyes like balls of grease, gnarled noses, pointed ears, and pronounced skull bones. They stink like rancid meat and, according to the writer, quote, worse now that they're dead. So stumbled across the bodies of 6 goblins. I
began digging a grave. It's my only purpose.
It's a jackpot. 6 graves in one day? Who's going to pay you?
You take half, I'll take half.
Every single one of them...
paid. No.
Every
I've
single
got nothing else to do.
Every single one of them either has an arrow through the chest or an arrow through the eye. You get the sense they didn't die here. They were piled here.
Crudely made arrow? Nice arrow?
No, solid arrow. Your gravedigger is local, right?
Yes.
An intelligence
Rival
check for your
cemeteries.
graveyard? Oh, yeah, that's right. 2 different cemeteries. That makes sense. Total sense.
My gravedigger's not local. I was tipped off that the local graveyard might be the local gravedigger might be being killed, and they needed a new one.
Roll an intelligence check for your gravedigger.
Oh God. Well, it's a 0, I guess. It's a 10.
Okay. You would recognize that these are fletched from local. I think it's Boyer,
Mm-hmm.
the local arrow maker. So these arrows belong to someone who bought the arrows in Thorpe.
Okay.
Is it B-O-Y or B-O-W?
B-O-W-Y-E-R.
BYOB.
The goblins are well kitted, appear to be clad in hide armor, with blowguns, whips, daggers, and slings. They also apparently have bags on them, too.
Is that armor something that would fit one of these other people?
It's hide armor, yeah.
As far as I'm aware.
Are goblins like halfling sized?
That's what, yeah.
They're slightly under 4 feet tall, so.
Dwarf sized.
Yeah.
We can make it, a halfling could probably make it work, don't you think?
That's what I'm thinking. We've each got one. So.
Well, he's got a dwarf.
Yeah. The 3 of us could have armor and bump our AC a bit, right?
I don't know. Does anybody know how to use armor?
Do you have to wear it?
Yes.
Then
Pretty
probably-
sure,
as a level
because
zero,
I don't
probably
think
not.
I don't think a wizard could put on a suit of armor.
But you're not a wizard until level 1.
Right. You don't have proficiencies until level 1.
So it probably doesn't. Yeah, you're probably right.
I don't know.
I will also
I don't
dig
either.
through. I'll also dig through these. You said they had sacks. So
Yeah,
or
yeah.
something. What do we got?
You see manacles, keys,
Ah.
rocks and feathers, small trumpets made of ram horn,
Mhm.
and these sort of like, I'm going to say this wrong. Is it basalt? Basalt? Stone.
I've heard it.
Basalt?
Basalt is
Yeah.
I
But
used to
it's-
collect rocks when I was in 6th grade.
Of course you did.
I found them in my
Well,
parents'
yeah,
attic.
but you probably pronounced them wrong too.
In 6th grade, probably.
So these basil
They're nice
stones.
rocks. I found them.
Because that's a soft rock, I believe. It's easy to carve.
Yeah.
Um,
That's what you'd use. You can make arrowheads out of them.
they're sort of like they're shaped sort of like it's still a stone, but it's very natural. It kind of reminds you almost of like a squash or something. Like it's shaped not naturally. Somebody carved it into a shape, if that makes sense. It's not a perfect circle or a triangle or anything, right? But it's shaped into a somewhat squash-like appearance with a downward arrow along the neck of the squash. So someone took the time to carve these stones.
Huh.
They each have one stone.
In the quick start rules, it says nothing. It didn't say anything about not being able to.
I think you can start with armor as a random roll, can't you? Or as certain occupation?
I have no idea.
So that's what you find, Lucas.
I'm almost certain that that's happened before.
I mean, my mercenary might have armor. I don't know.
Yeah, you wouldn't know until you scratch shit off.
That's kind of fucking funny.
Yeah.
No, I don't need this armor.
Well, when combat
Jeff
comes,
gets shot by an arrow.
probably
Oh,
a good idea.
I should have. This isn't armor. It's just.
I mean, ideally at level
thin
0,
cloth.
your AC is 0 until you wear something, I assume. That mitigates that.
Your AC is.
AC is 10.
10.
Oh, is it 10? I failed.
Plus your dexterity.
Correct.
That's pretty. Plus minus? Or plus only?
Plus minus.
Plus minus.
So I got some negative.
So yeah, you guys have options to, like I said,
No dex on your agility, I think is what you mean.
hide armor, blowguns, whips, daggers, slings,
Whoops, whistles, chains, yo-yos.
manacles. Like they're really into BDSM.
Whisker do's and whisker
guys.
don'ts.
My grandmother riding by on a bicycle giving me the finger and a duck.
Manacles, keys, rocks, feathers, trumpets, a grand horn.
I've got a backpack and a sack. I can start putting some of this stuff away if I wanted to, if it's worth anything.
It's up to you. You
So
tell me.
I'll take some of
I'm
those.
going to take one of the rocks.
Okay.
Yeah,
Probably
no,
one of the
I'll take a rock.
horns.
Yep. You got a rock and a horn.
I'll take a horn and some manacles and keys on one,
Sure.
and and a rock. You said each of them have a rock?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry. 5 of the 6 have a rock. I don't know why only
I'll take
5
a
of the
set
6
of
do.
3 for 2 different characters.
Okay.
So that's horn, rock, and then I guess manacles and keys are kind of its own thing. Nothing about armor.
I'm looking.
Kylie is the elder. She is 13. Maddie is slightly younger. She's 12.
How big of a footprint have we been following?
I don't think you'd be able to tell between the 2 girls.
Maybe.
Yeah, I'm still not seeing.
Okay, any of these classes, it doesn't say they can't wear armor. Thieves don't usually wear armor because it affects their skills. Wizards rarely wear armor, as it hinders spellcasting.
Yeah,
It doesn't say anybody can or can't. It's just whatever negatives you take.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to you guys wearing armor.
What's the negative to hide armor?
Well, you get a plus
Minus
3.
3 is the check penalty for hide armor.
Correct. Plus 3 to your AC.
Remind me what the check penalties for. Is that for stealth?
It's for anything that armor would be a problem with. So, like, if we decide that it's like, oh, hey, you've been thrown in the water and you now need to swim, it's minus 3 because it's heavy.
We got 6 sets of armor, right?
Yes. But it
So
provides
if each
plus
of us.
3
If
AC
each of
bonus.
us choose 2 characters we want to armor up, why don't we do that? We want to split it that way.
That work for you?
Yeah, sure.
I'll put one on my halflings. I can send up
Keep
to
in mind your
13.
fumble die does go up
To
D12.
What do you say? What was the check? What's the negative?
minus
check?
3.
Minus 3 check penalty, plus 3 to AC, though. So it makes their AC automatically 13.
And
Or
then-
12.
Yeah.
It's a fair point.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not including the negatives.
Um,
Oh, good. I hadn't checked that we'd been recording. I'm glad to see we are.
Yeah.
We'll have to have some folks over on a Sunday sometime to play mazes. I think Kieran would really enjoy that.
Absolutely.
That kid had no problem being a fucking murder hobo. Like,
Kids
I
don't care. They
I
don't know.
introduced the big bad, and it was across the room, and it was a floating ghost, and he's like, I yeet my axe at it. And I'm like, of course you do, buddy. 100% you do. I have no doubt in my mind you do. And of course, it's a fucking exploding dice. We did like 11 damage on a 14 hit point monster.
What are you rolling for?
74. It's a giant
What
D100.
weapons?
It's a giant D100.
What weapons were they carrying?
Just for
Dagger slings.
Dagger slings, whips, and blowguns, I believe. Let me look again. Blowguns, whips, daggers, slings.
What is a sling?
And those go off of agility, right?
This is basically they're basically a Rihanna song at this
Slings
point.
and whips do. I imagine. Umbrella, Ella.
Hey. Neither of those songs actually are the one that apply.
Shows what you know.
There's
ammunition, but I don't see the actual. Sling's a D4, 40, 80, 160. Strength modifier applies to the damage for a sling. Slings, daggers, and what?
Says if an attack is made with a missile weapon, he adds his agility.
Blowgun would be a missile weapon. I don't know if a sling would be a missile weapon.
Yeah.
Because Lucas just read strength.
Yeah, well, the strength modifier applies to the damage.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Agility to hit, strength modifier to do damage. I guess that makes sense. You have to aim, so that would give you the agility, but how hard you whip it.
How many of each of these? Every one of these has this stuff?
Yeah, they all have. They are well kitted out, which is perhaps mildly disturbing. Like, they are kind of a war party. Maybe not a war party.
How many shots do we get?
Thematically appropriate amount.
They're stones. You can just pick one up. It doesn't matter.
Correct. That is how nature works. There seem to always be stones everywhere.
For sling, if you're curious, it's 1d4 plus strength for damage.
I have a pile of river rocks out front because we're moving some stuff around to try and make space to build the window down here.
Mm-hmm.
So we can each take 2 slings.
Kieran kept coming over to me because I was mowing and he was out in the front yard. He's like, "Dad, look at this gem I found." I'm like, "Buddy, it's a river rock." He's like, "Look how smooth it is. I'm pretty sure that this is," insert random Minecraft reference here. I'm like, "No, buddy, it's a river rock."
It's cobalt, Dad.
I've already
Cobalt's
got
blue.
2 people with daggers, so I'm okay with that.
I'm good. I'm not taking any. I'm taking a sling. I took my 2 armor and a sling.
Took 2 slings, 2 armor, and then one of each.
You said
of,
there
like,
were
the other
whips,
random
but
items.
there's not.
Yeah, it's whip's not listed, so I don't know what that's under.
Whips are melee weapons inflicting 1d4 damage plus a DC 14 reflex save or be entangled. That's what it says.
Well, that's actually cool. I'll give one of my guys a whip.
Well, I'm gonna take all of the funky rocks.
Yep.
There were 5 of them.
Yeah.
You said you were gonna take one. I'll hang on to the rest of them unless you guys want.
I took
one.
2 technically.
You took 2.
Took 2.
I think I was trying to look stuff up and didn't.
I took
even
one
hear
of
what
each of the things.
They're just like
They're
oddly
they're carved stones out of basalt or basalt or basalt.
Oh, okay.
It could could
Basalt.
be it's basalt. It could be ceremonial. It could be.
Don't need
it doesn't.
anybody's
It doesn't look like a weapon though, right? Like it's just.
No. It's
It could be ceremonial.
It's an art piece. It's kind of like you see an arrowhead. You're like somebody's clearly shaped this.
Damn.
They shaped it into a sort of like round squash-like shape. And the reason I think it calls it a squash is because there's like a stem to this object, and there's a something that's been carved into the stem. So it's a shaped piece.
Demonic dildos.
Maybe.
I mean,
I'm not gonna say no. But
Yeah.
I said squash, not eggplant, but I won't yuck your yum.
Yeah.
You could have said eggplant. It would have been funnier.
Well, the book says squash, and I'm not gonna
GM.
go against MC Funk.
So
You
a
can write it
squash like
yourself.
an acorn squash or like a gourd?
That's
I'm
what I
thinking
was-
gourd.
Okay.
These
Isn't that the
stones
same
weigh
thing?
38 pounds apiece. You're carrying a goddamn kettlebell.
Is an acorn squash not a gourd?
Yeah, it is. But there's multiple kinds of
Well,
gourds,
that's true.
and they're all squash.
But you take care of them by eating
Could
salt.
be summer squash.
Could be summer squash. Could be zucchini.
Yellow squash or zucchini squash. Zucchini squash would be the most phallic, I think.
You know what they all are? Shitty vegetables to eat.
They are.
I actually like zucchini squash.
Of course you do. Fucking trash, Lucas.
Stir fried.
Yeah, I don't know.
My favorite
I'm
stir fried
assuming-
vegetable.
I'm assuming
Put
I've
that
never
in there.
had it prepared well.
I know.
So
Zucchini squash, either a red or yellow bell pepper, mushrooms, broccoli.
Yeah, that sounds awful.
And carrots. It's a good mix of veggies.
Um,
A nice salmon on the side.
That's why you didn't grow any taller.
No, I didn't start eating that until I was in my 30s, technically.
so that's when you had bad taste.
That's why I got to go get blood work done on Monday.
zucchini and broccoli in the same dish. I can't do that.
Get your greens with a green.
Gross.
I can eat plenty of green things that aren't zucchini or broccoli. No, we're going to keep talking over you.
No, I know. I was waiting for him to crack his beer because I wasn't going to start the description and then hear snap hiss in the background of it.
Fuck. Oh, well.
Okay. Who's leading? Do we have a leader or several leaders, or is the woodcutter still leading?
The woodcutter or the cobbler, one of the two.
Harry the woodcutter is leading.
I need an intelligence check from Harry the woodcutter.
I got to scratch off intelligence.
I hope it's
-3.
-3.
I say it's a no whammy, no whammy.
It is actually a positive.
Oh,
No whammy, no whammy, no whammy, no whammy.
I do have a character with a -3.
Every time we talk about Jeff scratching something off, we need to get the sound of a wheel spinning, or the fucking God, what is that? What is that? Goddamn Price is Right.
No, get the no whammies sound.
Don't get that sound. Just solo out me going.
just a roulette wheel sound. Is that what you need?
You can do a roulette wheel.
12.
So you're entering sort of a canyon here, right? And as Harry the woodcutter begins moving forward, it's not really a path per se. It's kind of like, I don't know if you've ever seen like a deer trail where like it's movement has happened here, but it's not a cut trail. But as you're moving, it's getting more rocky as you get closer to these ravines. And the woodcutter would know there are canyons and shit all over the hills. So you suddenly step off and nearly fall off of a fucking cliff or something. So as you're moving through, this sort of deer trail moves, and it's getting a little wider and rockier here. You know that there are, because he's familiar with the area, there are an ancient elven civilization lived out here. So, like, there are stone paths and stuff where the elves might have lived at some point. You don't know exactly where they are, but you've seen signs of it before. So the path is getting wider and more artificially cut, as opposed to, like, the deer path that you've been following.
Right.
So here you're getting to a wide swath where the foliage has been cut out or removed, and it narrows here by the way that the trees shape. And you see a matting of like branches and leaves in like a 10-foot diameter in the path directly ahead of you.
Do we need the chicken?
You got a level 1?
I think there's more dead bodies up there.
I'll use my spyglass.
It sounds like somebody's trapped it. How deep of a valley is this?
There are parts that are like it's pretty. What do I want to say? The topography is pretty dynamic, so there are places where the hills get pretty deep.
Just pull out my 10-foot pole. I'll check it out.
Okay.
Stand 10 feet away and just...
I know, exactly.
Just give it a poke.
You could, yeah.
Yeah. Like,
see what happens.
You think it's a pit trap?
That's kind of what it looks like.
Bunch of darts.
I'm also watching the tops of the canyon.
You're not quite in a canyon yet. You're still forested.
Okay.
But you could, like, it's weird how he describes it. I understand it on the map, but like it's a very fantasy canyon in which that it doesn't function like a natural canyon. It's like rooms in a dungeon. You know what I mean? Like so,
okay.
So like it's not, you're not descending in. It's like kind of like how rivers kind of like have pockets where there are areas like nature does that. But
yes.
So what are we doing? 10-foot poling it? Is that the idea?
Yep. Why not? He is sticking his pole in the hole. Yes.
Are you just the tip or like ramrod on in?
I'm not going to ramrod in case it's something explosive. I just want to see if there's going to be like, am I able to easily put 6 inches of the pole through?
Gotta go easy.
You got more than
6 inches being generous.
It's real generous.
Where are you starting the insertion? Since it is a 10-foot wide, presumable hole.
Oh,
the front or the back?
Is there more than one
The
option?
left or the right? Which degree out of 360 are you starting right in the middle?
I'll just say fuck.
You start at the top and work your way down.
Over the top of it with my pole. No, I'm gonna be on the edge, and I'm just gonna probably
grind in the edges. What are we doing here?
Yeah, 2 feet out. I'm just gonna jab.
You're just gonna jab it right in there.
Yeah, I'm just jabbing it in.
That's horrifying.
It's taken like a decade, but I love the fact that Jeff now will go and grab a drink.
Well, yeah, mine are left over.
Yeah, I'm not drinking fucking Angry Orchard.
Like wrong with Angry Orchard.
There we go.
There's the chair.
Speaking of ramrod in the hole, how you feeling there,
Jeff? How does that feel, bud?
Yeah, I'm good.
The mic's hit the perfect height.
Welcome to my world.
Yeah, I was going to say I'm at Lucas's level now.
You're just actually role-playing your dwarf.
That's what I said. Welcome to my world.
So as you start sort of testing the presumed pit trap, you do feel that there is a pit, that there is a descent. So if you kind of start poking like left to right.
So if I just want to like swipe to the side, see if I can't move.
Okay.
Just to like reveal.
Make me fuck, I don't know. I'm of two
You gonna make a
minds.
roll to push brush out of the way?
No,
Strength or agility?
Right.
It would be strength if he's using. He's not throwing something. So
Make me a strength check.
3.
So you see him kind of swing this pole, and he starts on one side and kind of moves. And as you move, you the pole goes in, and the leaves kind of crumble, and you get the sense that there is a pit. But as you swing it towards center, so I assume you start on the outside and are trying to sweep like left to right or right to left. You get to the center axis or whatever, and you hit something very solid.
Got ya. Okay. Well,
Like a clunk of wood against wood?
You do get a clunk of like wood against wood.
Okay.
got ya. Okay. So like,
The woodcutter will go up and look.
How so?
He's going to look into the space that was cleared off.
Okay. You do see a pit trap. But as you get closer to examine... What?
are they like bamboo poles?
No, it just appears to be a dug hole that's a trap. Although, as you can see, it appears that, like, 2 logs
Shit on them.
have been cleared and, like, flattened, and they're almost bridging across the gap in the middle.
Which is what lets the stuff probably.
Okay.
So,
I mean,
that's what you see.
Going around it.
yeah, I was gonna
Yeah,
say, can we
let's
just
go
walk
around
around it?
if we can find edge to edge, we can go around it.
Yeah, you can go around it if you want. Which way are you going around it? Clockwise, anti-clockwise, both?
Widdershins.
Widdershins, which is anti-clockwise, I believe.
It
In
is.
circles.
Who's going
spinning.
first? Who is the leader?
The woodcutter.
Woodcutter.
Jeff, make me an intelligence check.
Don't fuck up.
4.
Sweet, that's a great roll.
Don't fuck up.
Who's right behind the woodcutter?
I guess I would imagine I'm probably close because I was at the pit.
Yeah.
I need those 2 characters to make me a reflex save.
Jeff's got to scratch off his reflex save.
I do.
Did you just roll a 1?
Bring them tokens back, boys.
No, I rolled a 2.
Oh.
It wasn't a.
I thought you said. I thought you nodded
crit.
yes.
No. I did roll a 1, but it's because I have a modifier of -1.
Oh, okay. You
Not, it
didn't
wasn't
roll
a
a
crit.
Mine's not
natural one.
negative. 9.
You must have
All
really
right.
good stats.
So you guys kind of clunk this thing in the middle, which, like I said, seems to bridge the hole. You say, okay, we're going to go around because we don't want to deal with the pit trap. As Harry the woodcutter goes around, he feels something catch something at ankle level, and there's a snap above you. And he would be familiar with this. A giant wasp nest comes descending from the trees above you as you hit this this snare trap, which you did not detect with your intelligence check.
Yeah.
Shatters on the ground, and they begin stinging the fuck out of the 2 of you within a 5-foot radius.
I just
that are
start
close enough.
swinging my pole and just clock him upside the head.
So to the 2 people who did not make the DC 12 reflex save before the
We're gonna
these fuck off,
die
let's find
to-
out how many hit points he has, because that's what's coming up next. They do 1d4 damage, which I rolled a 4.
So those just automatically go through AC, right?
Yeah, they do.
Start digging a grave.
No, I'm
This
dead.
is all I know.
2. Yeah.
Yeah.
He had 1 hit point.
So you see them walk around. For those on the podcast, Jeff just yeeted the scratch-off sheet. You guys, oh, man.
You got to at least scratch the rest of it off later. Now I'm curious.
Why? It's dead. Although I liked Harry the Woodcutter. Although I rolled topsies on a 1d4 damage,
Yep.
so shit happens.
This is what it is, man.
I guess the rest of the party's gonna wait until Giles they stop stinging Giles, and then they're gonna go pilfer the armor
You
off
spend
of him.
these to make you reroll.
No. I don't believe so. You could have spent it to, I don't remember what they're used for anymore. I have to look it up.
You probably could. Could you have spent it to make a better save?
I mean, it just adds to your roll, doesn't it? When you use fleeting luck, it doesn't let you roll again.
It's been a long time.
I don't think it lets you roll again.
It adds to your plus. I rolled a fucking 1. I'm dead either way. So we're gonna wait till the halfling is left alone, and we're gonna pilfer his 10-foot pole and his hide armor.
That's fine. After a few minutes of aggressively stinging the fuck out of those two, and they swell up like they had, fucking drowned 3 days ago. Yeah.
Where are his glasses?
Y'all can continue on.
Hang on, I'm reading Fleeting Luck.
He needs his glasses.
It's been a long time.
So now I have 2 characters with 1 HP left.
I do need to get those Lankmar adventures. Man, I love that. Jeff, I know you're reading, so it's terrible to interrupt
you. You can spend it as points of luck. So it's a +1 to your roll, right?
Right. Yeah.
Okay,
well, I'll go ahead and put the armor on somebody else. Add the 10-foot pole.
What's up?
If you have a credit for Audible, just recently came out. I've been talking about it, but I don't think I was talking about it with you. It's a new book called Conan: City of the Dead.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking awesome. It's 2 stories in 1 book. I got through the first story. It was great. I have high hopes for the second story, but I'm only a little bit into it.
Fuck that dice.
Would recommend. I don't know how much I've got you hooked on actual sword and sorcery, like old school sword and sorcery yet, but I'm going to keep trying. And that was a really, really good. It's much less racist and rapey than a lot of other Conan stuff.
It's just pretty fucking bad.
Because somebody of the 21st century wrote it.
I've actually been reading Terry Brooks lately.
Oh, really?
The
Shannara?
No. Magic Kingdom for Sale.
I don't know if I've read that one.
It's actually pretty good.
Oh, yeah. We don't get to talk a lot. You should talk to Alex a little bit because he is my buddy who we've been talking about books. He got me on, what's the guy's name? He got me on the Immortals series by Piers Anthony, which is quite good. I listened to Death Rise. I think it's called the Immortals series. Maybe I'm wrong.
Pale Horse.
Yeah, Death Rides
on
a Pale
Horse.
Horse. Yeah, which was really good.
Yeah, no, I've read the Time one.
Oh, okay.
I haven't read any of the others, but Lisa loves those books.
I could see it's solid. Also picked up, I'll let you know how it is, The Black Company, which I don't know who wrote that, but Arctic
used to have like a bunch of those.
Arc Dream said that they're going to do a fantasy-based RPG, and they've got the licensing to do Black Company.
Yeah, I can't remember who wrote that.
Huh.
It's supposed to be like a West Marches style D&D campaign where the Black Company spread out all over the place, so all the stories take place with different groups of this mercenary group doing this fantasy stuff. But it's something Cook. They were written in the 80s, and apparently like Detweiler and Glancy and like several of the guys have been like, we don't really want to do fantasy, but if we do fantasy, we would do Black Company. So apparently it's like Delta Green fantasy.
Is it Chris Cook?
Like,
Huh.
It's something Cook.
I had 3 of them, and each one was like it had like a trilogy in each book.
Correct. It's like supposed to be, but it's like,
yeah,
it's all in the same time frame, but it's different geographically. So you're following the different companies the different parts of the company doing different things.
Interesting.
It's supposed to be really fucking good. Anyway,
I almost
Glenn
asked you
Cook.
a really dumb
Glenn
question.
Cook, you're right.
He's a very.
I was going to ask you of your characters, was your woodcutter like the best one? But you just
don't know.
You have no idea.
So you've been stabbed to death. What did the remaining characters do after they see the wasps viciously penetrate these guys over and over and over until they die?
Digging graves.
Fortune and glory.
I was going to say beat a dead horse, but yeah, same thing.
Fair enough.
Roll them into the pit.
That's fair.
Yeah, so that nobody else
Take their stuff first.
Yep.
You got any money?
Oh, I should probably roll that first. Scratch that off.
Yeah, see what equipment you had, so we.
Oh yeah, we need to know what you had.
Dead body. He's fucking dying. You need to go to a doctor.
No, it's the hard part is once it gets started, it's hard to stop, and then it gives me a headache.
Isn't there something about rolling the body?
Yeah, but not at 0 level, really. Like, I've let you guys do it a few times because I'm like, fuck, if I don't give them a character back, they're going to, like, not make it through the game. But you guys have been playing long enough, you'll figure it the fuck out. You guys kind of solved this trap, and then you just kind of went, we'll walk around. Which is fair. I mean, the big thing is that the
seems like it wasn't printed very well underneath. Like I would expect it to stand out better.
Yeah. He has a hand axe, 50 feet of rope, a bundle of wood, and 29 copper pieces.
It's not all, like, useless.
No, we'll take the 50 foot of rope for sure. Or you can put it on, well, I guess you can handwrite it on one of your other ones.
So who's leading the party now that the woodcutter's dead?
Hand axe is a D6. Fuck.
Yeah. Well, I assume Jeff is taking his character stuff, so you might want to ask Lucas before you take his character shit.
No, I'm letting him know. Hand axe is D6. If you don't know what else you have.
You grab that pencil like you were like,
it's instinctive. Every time I look up something, I grab my pencil. I do that at work. I have a jar of pens.
You shouldn't
I look
do that
something
at
up,
work.
and then I just grab it. I grab a pen and I click it, and I'm like, I don't need
Get in
this.
trouble with HR real easy with that one.
For grabbing a pen? I'm real confused.
No, you lost me. I wasn't paying attention.
He said, every time I look up, I grab my pencil. Euphemism.
No, sorry, euphemism. Gotcha.
I assumed it was a dick joke, but didn't know for sure.
I wasn't. Yeah, I was half listening and half talking. So,
who's leading the party now?
fuck.
Somebody else's characters.
I'll put my guy with the spyglass in the front.
Sweet. Seer,
Yeah,
the astrologer.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Sees all, knows all.
With an int of 4.
Is he moving? So he's
-1.
Are you moving Wittershins around the pit?
Well, now that trap's
way that
sprung,
we've
we
already-
can. Yeah. I'm not gonna.
Make
I'm
a
not gonna
reflex
spring
save.
the other trap.
So you all move around, having tripped the trap, and head on down the path. You walk for a little while, and the briar groves part ahead, revealing a scene of desolated majesty in the high throat of the canyon. Paving stones of varied shapes, arranged in an elaborate pattern, form a boulevard between 3 pairs of weather-worn, vine-snarled statues of elven guards. The stones are smothered in undergrowth, their uncanny iridescence faded, their sentinels cracked. Beyond the statues, a stone archway drips with a gate of thorny vines that sprout pustulant fruits.
That sounds disgusting.
That sounds
It does
really
sound
gross.
disgusting. The other thing that he, I love the way, like, I really do enjoy the way he writes this, because I think he takes a lot of stuff from, like, a lot of his descriptions are thematically appropriate. So he said there are 3 pairs of weather-worn, vine-snarled statues of elven guards. When you picture in your mind statues of elven guards, what do you think of?
Elven guards?
Yeah, like, you're picturing in your mind statues of elven guards.
The
Like,
opening scene of Lord of the Rings where they're all in line
Yeah.
with the falcons.
right, but, like, how big are these statues?
I would say 12 feet.
So just so you know, the literal thing he tells me next that's in the DM notes, not in the italics to read, is that these 33-foot tall statues are made of basalt and predate humanity. So they're way more, we're arriving in, where is it, Gondor, where you have the things on the fucking sides of the wall. They're much closer to that than, like, what I would picture, which is, like, 8-foot statues on a plinth to make them 12 feet or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So these things are fucking huge.
Oh,
So they're like half. Weren't they human statues on the river?
Yeah,
Lord
the
of Rings?
Argonath.
Yeah.
The ones given the Heil?
I thought those were elven. Are they not? Are they not elves?
No, they're
That
king.
bit, yeah.
One's a
Those
king
are
and
human.
one's- Yeah, they are. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Isildur and
Yeah.
what's his name? His dad.
They make bookends of those guys.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah.
that'd be fucking awesome to have a
remember his dad's
few
name.
sets of those. So anyway, picture 6 33-foot
Elendil.
tall antiquated elven statues on this boulevard leading to an archway, vines, pustulant fruits, etc. So
So these
Seer
are-
comes across this first.
These are like long abandoned statues, is what you're saying.
Yes.
But they're made out of the same rock as the rock we picked up.
Yes.
So either that's just a prominent rock in the area, or something else is going on. Are there any etchings or inscriptions on any of these statues?
Just from afar as you're approaching, they appear to be elven warriors because they are sort of like carved with having armor and weapons. They don't have the weapons drawn. They're sort of holding a hand aloft as if they're supporting the sun or some other celestial body in their palm, as if they're holding something up.
But no writing kind has been chiseled into.
Not from a distance.
Well.
Yes, Jeff, do you have a comment?
No,
Did you cut yourself, or is that a like a blood pressure band? I meant to
it's
ask you.
just compression.
Gotcha.
He's going lefty lately.
What do they call it? The stranger?
Yeah, you gotta sit on it.
So, anything that Seer or anyone else wants to do as you approach
No,
the
I
session?
would like to
Use your spy
use my
glass.
spyglass
And get a better
to
look
get a
at the
better
statue.
look at the statue.
You don't see any writing. I guess I've been going to the well a lot, but he can make an intelligence check.
Are there chunks missing where these other
No.
things have been made from?
No, they seem to be well intact.
Oh, that's a 6 total.
Yep, looks good.
These
No
are
You said
statues.
there are three sets of pair, right? Is what
Yeah,
you
there are
said.
three pairs.
And are
of
they
statues.
guarding? Different directions on the path?
No, they're kind of like ceremonially
okay.
placed. So
Facing each other. Are they arced?
they're facing together with their palms outstretched. They're
Is it-
almost
can you
forming
walk
like an
between
arch.
like-
Oh yeah,
Gotcha.
Okay.
the road runs between
So-
them, so it's
so
almost like they're
they're-
forming arches.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Like a wedding thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, or the musketeers with swords over.
Perhaps it's a portal.
Correct. They're sort of building a portal of sorts.
Yeah.
One of these days, Jeff, when I get
I
that
say we
TV
go
from you,
around.
Yeah, that worked last time.
Go right ahead.
There's not like if you're going to go through the gateway or the archway ahead, you will have to kind of walk through. You could go behind them for sure, but
I'm gonna weave in between each one.
Running a serpentine pattern.
Serpentine pattern.
As you begin to approach and look at which tactic to take, probably looking into the trees for that's a really good spin.
Is that a marble?
Who knows? You
For
hear it
bees' nests.
as you're looking for giant wasp nests. You hear an echoey voice, seemingly coming from one of the statues, that screams, "Show your stones and state your song."
I drop my pants.
Our title track, Bustin' Loose with Lead, is used under Creative Commons Attribution 4 International License and was produced by Jason Shaw at Audionautics.com. Like what you just heard? Let us know on Twitter at Rancors_Brothel or send us a message on Facebook at the Rancors Brothel page. Want more content? Subscribe to our podcast on any major platform or visit rancorsbrothel.com for hundreds of other RPG actual play podcast episodes. Enjoy sharing memes and talking nerdy? Hit up other listeners on the Fans of the Rancors Brothel Facebook page. Thanks for listening. Keep circulating the tapes.